Ado. We are back with her cover album where she just basically decided to go through some of the most famous artists and show that she could do their songs incredibly well herself. Well, anyway, look, I really appreciated that you guys have been super supportive of me being very honest about my opinions, but this next one, I'm really excited about this. I will continue to be honest as always, but as usual, what I did is I'm doing a reaction to both Ado's version and the original. And what I noticed is that Ado's version of this particular song, scroll down, it is called Unravel. Well, went back and found the original, and the original is by TK from Ling to Te Segura. And this is a guy who, I gotta be honest, I don't know all of his work, but every time I hear anything by him, it's usually pretty awesome. In fact, I don't even know if I know what his voice sounds like, but I'm familiar with his songwriting. He's written songs for artists like Iron at the End. He's written for Arno. It was a close one to get that wrong. She's written for Arno before, and I believe he has written for Arno. But yeah, I'm really interested. He is very good at crafting songs with big build-ups, big crescendos, usually very interesting bridges as well that give a bit of color and variation to the songs. So I'm very interested to see what this song is, because of course this is a song that he didn't write for Ado. This is a song that Ado is covering, which he had originally done himself. Looking down through here, it's got a meager, just under 45 million views. That's virtually nothing, right? I'm really interested to see as well, because this one does have a music video, as much as Ado songs certainly of the time had music videos, very much kind of like a frame-by-frame kind of animation, semi-lyric video is what I'm expecting. But anyway, we'll dive in with this. As always, just a little apology for anyone who doesn't know, the reason why I react to the Ado version and then do the original is because I've noticed that sometimes the originals that she chooses are songs that will get copyright blocked, and I do want you to hear my first reaction to the song, even if it is the cover before the original artist. So we'll hear this, and then we'll go back and check out the original and see what differences there were. But anyway, it's a funny thing is, because I think of like TK as being a songwriter rather than a singer. So I'm imagining if he sung this song, I'm going to take a guess that it's a song that isn't designed to be, I mean, he could be an amazing singer, but it's a song that isn't designed to be like a demonstration of maximum skill. He's probably written a very good song, and there's probably room there for Ado to expand upon it. So anyway, let's hear Ado's version first, and then we'll go back and check out the original as well. So this is Unravel, I think was the name. Double check that. Yes, Unravel by Ado. Delicate, I like it. Already the piano, the acoustics, the layers of guitars, thick arrangement. So many layers of them. Oh, nice. That's a great drop. All those layers of sound coming in there. Oh, that's a beautiful drop again. You knew the drops were going to double time. That's a beautiful example of just building up the tension and then punching in. And now we've got this like cool down period where the tension's still up, but building up again. Yeah, this really feels like the shouting bit's a bit unusual, but it kind of all feels like it's working really well for her voice. Again, he's so good at writing these build-ups. So much in 2.5 minutes already. It's such a simple melody, but the music is doing so much and her voice is powering it so well. Ah, that's such a beautiful payoff, such a beautiful crescendo. Can I get some stop? Arranged by Naoki Itai. I'm going to have to check whether Naoki Itai also arranged the original, because there is a lot going on with the original as well. The original's got 83 million views. I love this. You can be in Japan for so many years and still miss songs this famous. But okay, let's have a little look at some of the details under the original before we talk about the Ado version, because the Ado version, wow, there's a fair bit to be discussed here. I've got to be honest with you. I have to go back and check, but that might be my favourite song so far. And I think it really suits her voice as well. You know how I've often said that the thing about Ado that makes her voice so great is that it's not just about showing her range and showing her power and being able to go as crazy as possible. It's about delivering songs where she can just kind of take a very human sense of emotion and deliver it with the kind of power that feels genuine and real. She's got the restraint in her best songs to kind of not, to know how to sort of hold back at certain points and power forward to other points. But you need the song to do that. And this is a great example, as TK often does, of a song that just builds up beautifully to the choruses. It takes you from a quiet place and then it builds you up to the chorus, and it feels legitimate, it feels earned, it feels like a genuine ramping up of emotion. And when we get to that point, Ado's powering forward to the da-na, da-na, ba-na, ba-na, pushing out the lyrics and feeling that energy. It feels real, it feels earned, it feels like genuine emotion rather than hyperbole or just sort of overacting. It genuinely feels emotionally impactful. I think this is why TK and Ado are such a perfect combination, because you've got a writer who knows how to write songs that just hit you with the right emotional impacts and build that up, and you've got a singer who can, if given the right material, I mean, she can make edits, she can make a shopping list sound amazing, but she can take something that genuinely has musical power and she can fulfill that vocally. So for me, this is a perfect combination. I do admit that TK style is not for everyone. I do think that maybe if I were to be critical of this song, I think it maybe does it ramps up a few too many times. It's we do get I did notice that after 2.5 minutes it had achieved a lot, and if someone said to me at 2.5 minutes it had kind of done everything it should have done and it should have just kept it short and sweet and ended there, I wouldn't have argued with them. If someone had said, those last couple of bars after it suddenly stopped, you could have chopped that off, I wouldn't hugely argue with them. There's a few places where this could have been cut shorter without losing anything of particular huge effect, but I do think at the same point, I don't think it outstayed its welcome. I think it just kind of it did sort of really milk the concept as much as possible, but that's fine. I mean, for me, again, maybe as someone who really likes his songwriting style, I didn't feel it outstayed its welcome, but if someone said to me that they felt it did, I wouldn't argue too hard against them on that one. Wasn't super concise, but did pack a lot into it, and the most important thing is it packed that building energy. Now, from the get-go, it's amazing how many layers of sound are used, and this can often be an important thing because when you're using a lot of sound layers, if you you can end up with a song that sounds very cluttered. But notice that right at the beginning, we had so much going on. There was a couple of guitars, there was piano, drums, bass, vocals, and we ended up adding another guitar as well. 2 guitars, piano, building drums, bass. And you had like another, just another layer then coming in with just this like loud distorted bit. And even when this comes in though, it's not just sort of boneheaded slam guitars. Even this has got layering. You got like a lead guitar, you got a rhythm guitar, you got a piano, you got the bass, the drums themselves are an interesting rolling line. Just so much going on this. So yeah, for me, this was a fantastic execution of a song that built up. It had just interesting things going on throughout. The changes were impactful and punchy rather than just random and showy. It's not one of those songs where it's just like, I did mention about one of the songs earlier on this album where I felt like it was just kind of changing. And at the point, it went from being cool to feeling like it was doing it just kind of for the sake of it. I can't remember which one that was actually. I think it might have. Was it Crime and Punishment? I don't want to accidentally accuse the wrong song. There was a song earlier on where it felt like it was it felt like it was just kind of changing for the sake of it at a certain point. But this felt like every change felt earned, built up to, and powerful. Apologies, it might not have been Crime and Punishment. I think I might have accidentally just picked up on the wrong song. No, Crime and Punishment was the that was the Sheena Ringo one. It wasn't Crime and Punishment. When was it? Might have been feeling. I can't remember. I cannot remember. You guys will have to remind me which one I said that about. Usually I do the track by track listen through, and then once I've done all of the videos, I go back and listen to the album in one solid sitting, maybe several solid sittings to kind of take it in and enjoy it and maybe do a final review. But yeah, so I can't remember which one it was, but you guys will remind me. Certainly though, this felt like very much like an earned sense of like build up and power and emotional payoff, and that means time to check out the original. Now, it has seemed to be the case throughout a lot of these that there hasn't been a huge amount of change in the instrumentation, that there's more of a re-recording with Ato's voice put on top of it than necessarily a significant change to the sound. So I'm kind of interested. This song sounded so perfect for Ato's voice. I can't really imagine anyone else singing it, which is one of the interesting things about doing this way around. So, and plus I'm not particularly familiar with TK's voice, so let's see how it sounds. Why am I not subbed to him? Now I am. Let's hear it this way round and see what we think of the original. I'll be also interested to know if there's any significant changes to the music, but I'm suspecting it's just going to be a case of hearing it in the original author's voice. 教えてよその仕組みを僕の中に誰かいるの壊れた Very falsetto. Again, that kind of delicate in a different way. Having the video where you can see all the instruments done at an extra level. I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge fan of his falsetto voice, but I get where he's going. Nice use of vocal layering there as well. That's a flex. I am everyone. Oh, I thought he had TK clones on the other instruments, maybe not. Okay, that's where the shout came in. I think it actually works. It's just kind of unexpected but powerful. So cool, just a full-on, energetic, screaming, noisy kind of solo. Full of passion. So entertaining. I can definitely see what he was going for when he did this. It's like, it's much more a falsetto song when he does it. Okay. Nice. Nice. I like that little final twist there. That's cool. All right. So, a couple of things to say about this. First things first. As is often the case when we do things this order, I'm going to talk about obviously why. Yeah, as you're probably going to guess, I think this certainly suited Ado's voice better. But obviously, I'm talking about this to draw that difference. However, I can't get away from the fact that this is very much a TK song. He wrote it, and he is the reason why this song is so awesome. He's the person who provided this song that Ado has taken to such incredible heights. So, still, I am absolutely enamored by this song. I think it's brilliant. I will say though, like his version, it relies very heavily on falsetto. I don't think his falsetto is cool, but I don't think it's particularly strong. It's not like sort of like when you listen to something like Mrs. Green Apple and like his falsetto is incredibly strong. Like with TK, it's like it's there, but it feels a little bit weak, and so it's cool. But I definitely didn't feel it. Well, I felt that what Ado managed to achieve gave the song more of a consistent sense of power and emotion throughout. Whereas I feel like he does what a really great songwriter does do, which is write a song which is beyond even his own ability to perform. No, he did a great job, but definitely this was pushing his voice to a level, and all credit to him. I think if you heard this on its own without the context of the Ado version, I think I would still be listening to it going, wow, that was really cool. I really enjoyed it. But definitely the Ado version is the one that I would probably be listening to more actively. I just preferred her voice in this version. I will say the video was a little bit strange. I like the fact that we got to see people playing. I do think the video was a little bit too glitched out, that it kind of it felt a bit messy, I'll be honest with you. Not a video that I would come back to. I like the final twist and I like being able to see the musicians play, but it just kind of felt a little bit like the concept swallowed the actual... it swallowed the video a little bit much and didn't quite carry the same, like most of the ups and downs it was powering through were projected just by having a bit like flashing images, but I don't think it was particularly the most interestingly filmed video. Pretty cool, but yeah, I think maybe concept a little bit over execution for me there. Song though, I think it's a fantastic song. I think he did great. I think TK did a great job singing a TK song, given that TK is an unbelievably good songwriter and seems to be a pretty good artist. So massive credit to that. But I will say thank you, TK, for writing possibly my favourite song so far. I have to check, but this is a strong contender for my favourite song on the album so far, but definitely a song in which the Ado version for me is the one that I would be taking home. Great stuff though. Kind of similar thing to what I said about the Sheena Ringo version. Obviously, Sheena Ringo is a singer who's held in very high regard even by Ado herself. But with Sheena Ringo, I said a similar thing, which is that you needed Sheena Ringo to create that song, but just the Ado version came off as my favourite at the end of the day. But yeah, this brilliant stuff. Absolutely enjoyed it. Brilliant song, brilliantly delivered. everyone wins on this. Everyone wins all the way around. But definitely, I am going to say that I will take the cover as my personal preference. And I remain a TK fan for his songwriting very much. Anyway, there you go. As always, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.